Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we are going to look at retirement, specifically the Federal Employees Retirement System, also known as Fers, F-E-R-S. And if you are unaware, Fers is what replaced civil service retirement system in 1987. January 1st, 1987 is when Fers was active. And if you were employed before that, you were under civil service. And I'm not sure, we can look at it later if anyone has some questions. But civil service, if you were under civil service, I believe you either transferred to Fers, or maybe one portion of your retirement is still civil service, the other part is Fers. I'm not sure, but we can look at that later. But for today, we are going to look at the Fers system. So I'm going to the opm.gov website, and let's go under retirement, and let's go on to Fers. You can see the civil service information there, but let's look at the Fers retirement. So the Fers is made up of three. Let's read it. Fers is a retirement plan that provides benefits from three different sources: a basic benefit plan, Social Security, and the Thrift Savings Plan, TSP. And if you watched my previous video where I talked about the TSP and how you needed to be in the market and need to be contributing to the TSP, this is part of the reason why, because that is going to be part of your retirement, your overall retirement picture. And so you're going to have funds from these three sources: TSP, retirement, and Social Security. We can look at the Social Security later. There's some calculators that will give you an estimate of what your earnings would be. And I believe, they send them out every now and then, but I believe you can request an estimated benefits, estimated benefit statement or something like that. But let's look at Fers. So let's look at the eligibility first. First of all, eligibility is determined by your age and number of years of creditable service. In some cases, you must have reached the minimum retirement age to receive retirement benefits. Use the following chart to figure your minimum retirement age. So if you were born, this is a quick reference. If you were born these particular years, this is your minimum retirement age. But as you can see, 57 is, that's the most that's on the list. So at the very minimum, 57 would be the worst, the worst, or the latest minimum requirement. So there is an immediate retirement. An immediate retirement benefit is one that starts within 30 days from the date you stop working. If you meet one of the following sets of age and service requirements, you are entitled to an immediate retirement benefit. So age 62, if you have just 5 years of service, then you can have an immediate retirement. Or if you're age 60 with 20 years of service, you can have an immediate retirement. Now the magic numbers are the 62 and the 20. Also, if you reach the minimum retirement age according to this chart up here, then 30 years you can have the benefit, or the minimum retirement age with 10 years of service. And you can read this paragraph here, which explains that it will be reduced by each year, 5% a year if you're under the age of 62, unless you have 20 years of service. That's why I said the magic numbers are 62 and 20. Now, for me, I do not want to be working. I don't want to be working for an agency at the age of 62. My plan is to retire at around 55, maybe, 55, definitely. So, that's just me. I don't plan to be, like I say, working for a company. I'll probably be working just on my own thing. And then you have early retirement. You can look at that. Deferred retirement. You can look at that, and disability retirement, those sort of things. So let's go back and look at the actual computation and how that's figured. And it's actually pretty straightforward. Your basic annuity is computed based on your length of service and high 3 average salary. To determine your length of service for computation, add all your periods of creditable service, then eliminate any fractional part of a month from the total. So the high 3 average salary is the highest average basic pay you earn during any 3 consecutive years. These 3 years are usually your final 3 years of service, but can be an earlier period if your basic pay was higher during that period. Right? So all it's saying is, excuse me. Normally, when you enter into employment with the company, you start out at a certain level, a lower level, and you move up. And as you move up, your salary increases. Well, all this is saying that, maybe you started lower, you had a nice rise in income, and then it lowered again. And well, if that happened, it's just still going to take wherever was your highest 3 average, 3 years average, 3 consecutive years average. So it also says that it does not include payment for overtime, bonuses, etc. Okay. So let's look at the basic annuity formula. Okay, if you're under the age of 62 at separation for retirement, or you're age 62 or older with less than 20 years of service. Again, that's those numbers, 20, 62, and 20. Then the formula is 1% of your high 3 average salary for each year of service. And the second one, if you are age 62 or older at separation with 20 or more years of service, so that's the 62 and 20, you meet both of those, then you're actually 1.1% of your high 3 average salary. Okay, so, and then there's some other things, air traffic controllers, firefighters, so law enforcement, Congress, so on and so forth. But let's look at us normal folk. Let me pull up my calculator here. So let's take my salary, for example. Currently is $72.27. And let's say that is the average over 3 years, right? Let's say the next 3 years, which is going to be different because I still have one more step increase. But let's just say it's $72.27. And we're going to do 1% of that, so 0.01. And then we're going to multiply it times the years of service. Let's just say 20 years. So at 20 years, this is my annuity, which makes out to be monthly $1,200 a month. Okay. Now let's see if I were to stay in 40 years, how would that affect it? 72.27 times 0.01 times 40 years, right? So 28,890, and you divide that by 12, so $2,400 a month. So basically double. So the number of years plays a big role in determining how much monthly you're going to get. Now, this is how I understand it. If there's some other details or something I'm leaving out that I'm not aware of, someone please let me know. But according to this, what's in black and white from the OPM website, this is how it's calculated. Okay, so the number of years plays a big role in how much you're gonna get per month. Now, some people will say, well, I've seen people work, 40 years. Some people do a lot longer. I don't know if they stay in that long to try to get the maximum, but to me, I would rather get out as early as possible, as opposed to working in that company so long, doing 40 years or whatever. And once you get out, you really can't do anything else. right? So this is why it's important, and this is going to segue into why it's important to have your financials in order long before you reach retirement. Okay, which takes us back to the baby steps, which I discussed in a previous video, right? I'll run them down for you real quickly. Baby step number one, once you made the decision that you were going to get out of debt and or take a hold, grab hold of your finances and try to change your future, baby step one is $1,000 in a baby emergency fund. Why? Because as you're trying to get out of debt, something's going to happen and you're going to stop what you're doing, stop your debt payoff, your debt snowball to take care of that situation if you don't have an emergency fund to take care of it. So that's baby step number one. Baby step number two is the debt snowball. Pay off all your debts, list them from smallest to largest, make minimum payments on everything but the smallest debt, attack it, knock it out as fast as possible, and then you move up the ladder through each debt until they are all eliminated. Baby step number three, contribute 15% of your income into retirement, right? Put in whatever your match is at your employment agency. Put in as much as you can to get that match, and everything over that make up the difference to make it 15% that you are putting in yourself from your income into your retirement account. Baby step number, where we at? No, let's back up. Baby step number three is 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. So baby step one, $1,000 emergency fund. Baby step number two, the debt snowball. Baby step number three, 3 to 6 months of expenses in an account, a savings account designated as your emergency fund. We call that a fully funded emergency fund. Oh. Baby step one, $1,000 in a baby emergency fund. Baby step number two is the debt snowball. And baby step number three is 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Baby step number four, 15% of your retirement, 15% of your income towards your retirement. Baby step number five is kids' college. Baby step number six, pay off your home early. Okay, so you walk up the baby steps, and if you have established these baby steps early rather than later, your retirement will look much easier. Because let's say, as we looked at in the example, you have income coming in of, what was it, $1,200 a month. Okay, you have that. You have your Social Security, right? And then you have your TSP. Well, if you still have debt to where you're paying homes, you have a mortgage, if you have 2-3 cars, 2 car payments, credit card, you still have debt, then that retirement income, which is very much fixed, is going out, right? So all your income is still going out, so you can't enjoy retirement as well as you would like, or as well as you should. So that's why it's very important. And we're still going to look at the baby steps some more as I look at insurance and those things. So that's what the video is about. It's just a quick and dirty about the Fers retirement system, in case anyone was wondering. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.